Okay, so we're gonna start doing some knotless plaits. I'm gonna try to do them on myself. I have not done them all over as knotless braids by myself ever. So this is the first. Um, I don't like using pre-stretched hair, so I'm actually going to use Bobby Boss. This is my favorite braiding hair. Old school. No pre-stretch for me. I don't like pre-stretch. And I want curly ends, so I got some curly type hair here that I had left behind in my hairband. And this is the pattern that it's in. So this is the kind of hair I'm going to use for my ends. So let's see how it turns out. So I like to start off with a braid out so I don't have to use heat on my hair. So this is kind of how I started off. I like to damp it just a little bit so it's easier to move around and part. And just to get that moisture in before I braid it down. Okay, so let's get started. We start off by parting our hair as best as we could without a mirror. I like to do my plaits a little loose because I like to create less tension as possible. So you will see throughout this time I'm plaiting my hair that they're not super tight. And remember, we also have to get that crochet needle through our hair, so we don't want to make it too tight. You can see here that I've did some parting there. It's not perfect. I also like to use Sulfur 8 grease. It works wonders for my scalp. I also like to use some moisture lock here, and that just is just to keep my hair as moisturized as possible through the process, since we're going to be putting some Knotless hair in our hair for a while. I want to make sure it stays as moisturized as possible. Here we are. I'm going to show you how I plait everything a little closer up for those who are just learning how to plait. Once again, you don't have to plait your hair going all the way down. I just plait it like halfway, the halfway mark. So here you go. You see close up, I split my hair into 3 pieces here. Yep, you can see the 3 pieces there. And I'm not tightening my grip too much. I'm trying to make sure I keep it as smooth as possible, but without pulling it too tight. Yep, and as you can see, I'm only going to go down just a little bit, not too much. You can see my braid is loose. I'm all done here. So now I'm going to demonstrate how I add in the Knotless hair. So you put the crochet needle inside the braid where your parting is. Remember, it's loose, so you see mine, it was easy to put in there because it's loose. I'm going to add the hair to the latch. I'm closing the latch, pulling gently through my hair. As you start to pull the other side of the Knotless hair, it should be very mobile before you braid, so it shouldn't be tight. So remember, yeah, you're able to move it a lot. So now I'm going to just split one side of the hair in 2 so that I can create 3 pieces for my plait. And then there we go. We just braid that all the way down to the end. Now I do like to keep my braids, I like to braid my actual plait with the hair added really tight. So I try not to braid that loose. I like to braid that tight to create a more uniform appearance in the braid. I'm not a pro, but you know, this I've seen made the braid look a little bit better, so this is what I like to do. Also, remember, for this hairstyle I have curly ends, so I also like to add the curly hair to the end of my braid. I wait till I get pretty much finished with the braid before I add the hair, so it's going to get added all the way at the end of this braid here, which we're already almost to the bottom of the braid here. And move the camera down so you can see. Alright, so the curly ends will be, you can see the ends that are already finished there. I don't know if you can see that, but the ends that I'm about to add normally starts like about
right here when you're almost done with the braid. See, yeah, there's like nothing there. Now we're adding the hair, just a little curly piece added to like, yep, to both sides of that hair there. Braid that all the way down as much as possible, because you don't want to braid that curly hair down just a little bit, because I've noticed that it starts to like kind of fall out a little bit. So I braid the curly hair down as much as I can. This is very important, because if not, you'll see that the silky part is just like falling off randomly, and we don't want our hair falling out while we're like in mid conversation. So there you have it, the curly ends. There they are. I like the curly ends, they're beautiful to me. Now we're all finished. I do like to dip my hair still, so I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Just dip it in some boiling hot water, because I like my connectalon hair to kind of loosen up a bit. I don't like it stiff, so that's why I still dip it. Also, I have those curly ends, and I like to get those wet as well, because it makes it look a little bit more pretty, those ends. So that's what I'm doing now. Make sure you have a towel, because I had to actually go get a different towel, because the towel I had was too little and I was getting like really wet up. I like to also add foam, just to put all those, make sure all those frizzies are down, and to add a little shine to my hair. You can see my hair is not perfect. The parts are not perfect, but it's neat enough. It was very quick. It took me 3 hours to do this. So it does not take long to do this at all. You can see my braids, they're not even small. Like, they're like medium size, almost hitting to the large size braids. And there you have it. Here's the finished product. Yes, girl.